Here's where some people see a comparison to the battle over abortion. The political process in the case of same-sex marriage was working. 5 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized same-sex marriage. Now, instead of letting this be decided on a state-by-state basis, you are, in effect, pushing the courts to preempt the argument, which is exactly what they did in Roe versus Wade.
Well, would you like your right to free speech? Would you like Fox's right to free press put up to a vote and say, well, if 5 states have approved it, let's wait till the other 45 states do? These are fundamental constitutional rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees Fox News and you, Chris Wallace, the right to speak. It's in the Constitution, and the Supreme Court has repeatedly held that the denial of our citizens of the equal rights to equal access to justice under the law is a violation of our fundamental rights. Yes, it's encouraging that many states are moving towards equality on the basis of sexual orientation, and I am very, very pleased about that, because it is extraordinarily damaging to our citizens, our family members, our brothers, our sisters, our co-workers, and our neighbors when they are labeled second-class citizens, when the state of California, as it did in this case, enshrined in its Constitution a separate status for certain of its citizens. It did immeasurable harm. We can't wait for the voters to decide that that immeasurable harm that is unconstitutional must finally be eliminated. I applaud the fact that things are changing, and I think this case is helping open people's eyes to the damage done by discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. All we have to do is look into the eyes of these individuals and decide, why are we denying them the right to happiness that we accord to all of our other citizens?
Mr. Olson, we're beginning to run out of time, so I want to get through a few issues with you. Let's look at the process going forward. Why not allow the judge's ruling in this case to stay on hold until the matter is settled? Why push, as you are, to activate the ruling? It'll cause a flood of same-sex marriages that when they may soon be ruled, or may later be ruled, unconstitutional, or rather that the ruling may be reversed.
Well, the judge decided overwhelmingly that all of the evidence supported ending this discrimination now. The judge decided that this discrimination hurts individuals every single day, every single moment of their life.
But he did put his ruling on hold. You're pressing for that hold to be ended, the stay to be ended, so that people can get same-sex marriages tomorrow.
Chris, he put his decision on hold until he could hear from us as to why it shouldn't be put on hold. Yesterday, the Attorney General of California and the Governor of California both said that the decision should go into effect immediately. In other words, the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Legal Officer of the state of California said it's time to end this discrimination. California will not be hurt if we stop discriminating now. We agree with that. We believe that the individuals that we represent and tens of thousands of other Californians should not any longer be denied their constitutional rights, and we hope the judge decides to allow his decision to go forward.
All sides expect this case to go to the Supreme Court, and I guess all sides expect Justice Anthony Kennedy to be the swing vote. Let's take a look at his record over the years on this issue. In 2003, Justice Kennedy wrote the opinion invalidating a Texas law that made gay sex a crime. In 2007, he struck down a Colorado provision that prohibited anti-discrimination ordinances that would protect gays. Question, what do you make of Justice Kennedy's record on these issues?
Justice Kennedy, like the other 8 justices on the Supreme Court, are going to look at this issue, and most importantly, they're going to look at the overwhelming record produced by this trial. This judge, this district judge, the trial judge in California, the federal judge in California, listened to all the evidence. We put on 9 expert witnesses, 7 lay witnesses, and the other side really produced no evidence at all. In fact, they said during the course of the trial they didn't need to prove anything. They didn't have any evidence. They didn't need any evidence. This is an overwhelming record that supports the fact that individuals are being hurt and it helps no one in California, and California has no rational basis for continuing this discrimination. When that gets to the Supreme Court, I think that will be persuasive to all of the justices on the Supreme Court.
So you think you're going to win in the Supreme Court?
Well, we are not taking anything for granted. The Supreme Court justices will decide the case when it gets there. But we believe that we're right under the Constitution. This judge, if you read his 136-page opinion that analyzes every single issue, every single piece of evidence bearing on this case, decided that this discrimination is wrong, it's unconstitutional, it should be stopped. We are hopeful and reasonably confident that the Supreme Court, when we get there, will agree with that.
Finally, we got about a minute left. Let's talk a little bit about Ted Olson. As we said at the top of this segment, your conservative credentials are unquestioned. You argued and won Bush v. Gore, which ended up with the election of President George W. Bush. You were his first Solicitor General. And a lot of people have asked me, so I want to ask you, why did you get involved in this cause? And is it in fact the case that Hollywood director and liberal Rob Reiner was the one who got you to take on the case?
Well, there's a lot of people that asked me to take on this case. Chris, we believe that a conservative value is stable relationships and a stable community and loving individuals coming together and forming a basis that is a building block of our society, which includes marriage. We believe that that is a conservative value. We also believe that it's an important conservative value to sustain the rights of liberty of our citizens and to eliminate discrimination on invidious bases, whether it's race or sex or sexual orientation. It should be a liberal and a conservative value. It is a fundamental American value. All men and all women are created equal under the law.
Mr. Olson, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. We'll keep following your lawsuit. And I got to say, after your appearance today, I don't understand who you ever lost a case in the Supreme Court, sir.
You're very kind, Chris. Thank you for having me on your program.
Up next, what